Hi and welcome to Inferno TV.
Back for another professional year.
Yeah, the first episode of the upcoming season, in which we'll be reviewing changes at the club, players that we've signed, and a little talk about how the new rink is developing.
Yeah, all positive news, which is good. No more doom and gloom, potentially, which is great.
Yeah, I think it's a case of the Pope is dead, long live the King.
The Pope is dead, long live the King. You're right, yeah. Wow, we actually wrote that line. That's really bad.
Now, does
Yeah, sorry.
Does that look like a mouth, or is it more like...
I don't know, let's check.
Right.
Damn! Sorry, it's the summer and we're not meant to be here. So we're all a little bit, Hawaiian shirted. Alan's wearing flip-flops. Still a bit,
Yeah. Oh, you've given it away now. People will be...
Sorry.
Hanging on for the end for the socks feature.
Should we start?
You've told them I'm wearing flip-flops.
Well, we have started.
I know.
John, talk about hockey.
Yeah, go, John. Hockey.
I think we need to start off with the changes that have taken place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Obviously, we've seen a number of.
Is this the point where we tell everyone here what they already know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Well, we've seen a number of major changes. We've seen obviously Steve King, Todd Kelman, and a consortium have come on board. We've seen the return of Neil Francis, which we know is welcomed by a large number of the Devils fan base. Neil's been a big part of the club for a long time now. Also, along with that, we've seen the demise of the previous ownership, and Paul and Brent, who've moved on to different areas now.
Was it a demise?
Well, I think so.
Well, they're not about anymore, are they?
True.
Yeah. So.
Well, I always think of demise as sort of,
death.
Yeah.
Well,
I
think the Devils were nearing a slow and agonising death the way things have been proceeding, and now we have the opportunity to move forward.
Yeah.
Last season was
completely differently.
It
was,
wasn't it? Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I don't know how we managed a show every week, to be honest.
Some of that was just sat here wanting to go, why?
Well, for me personally, it was a season of trying to find something to be positive about.
Yeah.
Whereas the coming season is a season to genuinely be positive. There's so many things to be positive about. Last season, I was struggling to find reasons to be positive, but we did our best.
To be honest, the agenda looks fairly boring, to be honest with you, because there's nothing sort of really controversial or soap opera-esque to report.
It's the summer and there's no games, so it's a bit hard.
True.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think there's any need to draw any negatives out of it, really. Like Todd's come on board. We've had the fantastic public meeting already, which thoroughly enjoyed. That I thought they said all the right things.
It was a bit like a sort of evangelical feel to it, though, wasn't it?
Almost.
It was like a sort of cleansing exercise, really, wasn't it? It was strange in Wales that an atmosphere was generated like that. It's not often you kind of get that sort of atmosphere.
No, apart from at the rugby.
Yeah, part of the rugby,
was there
yeah.
Choir? Was there
You didn't go?
I
You weren't available.
No, I wasn't available. Yeah, I was.
It was sort of like a sort of.
It was a relieving of pressure, I think.
It, almost,
yeah, it was. It was like there was a casting off.
Yeah.
Of the previous, like sackcloth and ashes, I would say, for those who would understand what that means.
The previous regime. Let's say the previous regime was cast off.
And then it was like someone had put a light on in the room then. There was a bright light shining in the middle of the stage. And instead of that being a tiny light at some points last season, if you could see it at all.
Did you see it, Skip?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see the light.
I didn't see the tiny light. No.
Okay, but being serious, certainly Steve and Todd came across as very professional, and they talked about a lot of things that Devils, that certainly the fans have had concerns about, and how they see the thing developing. And for me personally, one of the biggest points I thought was the fact that Steve had said he's not here. It's not a short-term thing. This isn't where he's going to be making his money. He has his businesses, obviously, which are doing well, and this is about building a legacy, which will have his family's name associated with it.
So would it be fair to hypothesize, do you think, that this is, it's a good deal really for the new people coming in with the new arena, probably despite the fact things were drifting into the abyss last year, probably a decent deal for Reagan on the way out as well. I would have thought with the new rink having started to be built, so then that's probably the business is a much more valuable product than it might have been.
Perfect
6 months beforehand, really, until So
perfect timing, I would have said, for the consortium, and certainly for Todd. They're taking on a well-established club that has had a very good reputation in the past, has a big, loyal fan base, and obviously at a time when it was at a tipping point, now it can be tipped back in the right direction. Going into the rig next year, I don't see any reason why this season we won't be seeing the tent full quite a lot of the time, and we'll see big crowds in the new arena, I think, especially on the basis of the team that we've been building so far and the leadership structure that we put in place.
Yeah.
Well, it was always what was needed, wasn't it? It needed to be a good, positive last season in the tent to carry good momentum and good feelings into the new building.
But let's be honest about it. These are hockey people now who are in charge. These are people who know hockey, who love hockey. Steve King was talking about he's a volunteer at Calgary Flames. He likes to get involved there. He loves his family to be involved with the hockey. It's a family sport. And certainly I think that having people on board who genuinely love the sport and understand the sport and its nuances will make a massive difference to us. Like, I can't really remember in Cardiff the last time that we had ownership of that, of the kind that we have now. Certainly not as an overall package. And the financial backing, obviously, that it brings with it as well.
Exactly, yeah.
You were saying, you just touched on it there, you were saying that to me earlier that quite a number of the players signed have got captaincy experience as well. So I think that'll be interesting, because I certainly feel like over the years I've been watching the Devils that we don't seem to, quite often in game situations, I think we brought this up with Dave Whistle actually in the interview at the end. I think there's quite a lot of occasions where our in-game management has sort of lacked, or perhaps in clutch situations over the years we just haven't quite got over the line. So do you think that'll be a big thing?
Yeah, I do, because I think what Todd is doing is putting leadership on all the lines by the look of it to me. He's bringing guys in who've previously been captains, even at fairly high levels, or assistant captains. One thing you will notice, we haven't brought in older guys that are near the end of their career, who may be ex-NHLers or whatever.
So should we run down who we've got and just sort of talk about each one?
Can do.
Because we haven't actually mentioned them yet.
No, we haven't. We're skipping that point in the middle, though, aren't we? But that's fine.
We can come back. Well,
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think we probably should touch on Dave Whistle, because we had that discussion with him just before the end of last season, where he talked about the kind of players he was looking to bring in and the way that he was looking at things moving forward. I think in a lot of ways it's a shame that we won't get to see what Dave would have done with the team.
It is, yeah. It's a shame, a big shame.
But it did look like he was going to be struggling with a very small budget at one point. Yeah. And obviously Todd and the consortium come in. They have their own plan and direction. Todd explained in detail why Dave wasn't brought back on board. And you have to respect that they're trying to do something completely different here and build something different, and that's what they're doing. But I think we should say a massive thank you to Dave, certainly for stepping in at a really difficult time last year, probably one of the most difficult times he's ever been at the Devils, doing his absolute best at the time, working with guys that he hadn't signed and trying to give the fans something to enjoy on the ice, which was a struggle, because certainly situations off the ice were affecting the guys' mentality on the ice. I don't think there was any doubt about that, unfortunately. And as much as we tried to be positive about it, we couldn't gloss over it all. You know, it was there for everyone to see.
That's a good expression. I was going for you couldn't polish, and I thought I can't finish that statement. So yeah, good point, yeah.
Yeah, we just couldn't. We tried in the programmes last year to not talk about that, because it was being discussed so widely anyway.
Exactly.
But I think this season, what we're really looking forward to is being able to discuss positive points with people, areas the team's improving, the way that things are happening off the ice, the development of the new arena. Just in general, I think we'll see Todd probably have a lot more involvement on match nights. I would expect to see a lot more.
Well, he's very hands-on in Belfast, isn't he?
Yes.
He's always in the crowd, doing announcements.
My experience with Todd in the past, he's done meet and greeting at the Odyssey, all that sort of stuff. He's one of the people you do see around the place, and I think certainly think we'll see that going forward, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's a big thank you to Dave.
Yeah. He was a real gentleman when he came on here as well, wasn't he?
He was.
It was the first time I'd met him.
He was, and he brought beer.
He did?
Yeah, no, he was.
Yeah.
And he certainly did his best in trying circumstances. He knows Todd very well. Todd knows him. They've worked together previously. And at this point, we're building a team, in a new mould. And I think you can see that from the players we've been signing.
So should we segue that on to the person who's replaced him?
Seamless. Well done.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
I did. Oh, good. Yeah. So
I did one as well, but it was
Sorry.
overshadowed by John's.
Sorry.
And then I did this in the middle.
Yeah, you
did,
did.
it was nice.
You were the visual representation.
Vision of the segue.
Yeah.
So the new players, should we talk about some of the players?
Well, I think that the segue I made there, John, but you were obviously just relishing in
my
your
own
own
moment of glory, sorry.
your own segue there, was that the man replacing Dave Whistle is Andrew Lord, a familiar face to Devils
That's
fans.
a very good place to start,
Thank you.
It is.
I would say.
Yeah.
Well, you better do it then.
Go on then.
Well, I had a message from Andrew earlier today, so I can briefly mention that, and just so
He knows John.
yes,
He does
just to
know
bring
that.
everyone up
Yeah.
to speed a little bit.
John's been fending off his calls for weeks, but
Yes,
finally
yeah.
Andrew got through to John and managed to have the opportunity to run by some of the recruitment decisions he's been making.
So I can give him some advice, obviously. But what he'd said is basically what we've heard previously. He's been working 50 nowadays most of the time. He said speaking to scouts a lot, obviously working closely with Todd, looking at video, reviewing players, trying to find the best guys for the team. And I think in Lord we've got a guy there who's hungry, who is a very good leader on and off the ice, has some great ideas about where things are going, and I think he's definitely the right man to bring about something different here. I think, and he's not an older guy, if you know what I mean. He's a young chap. He's still a young chap. Yeah. So he's got some good years ahead of him. He's still a very, very good player at a very high level. Yeah. I think we're very fortunate. He's got a great brain on him. We know that, and it certainly secularly as well. Off the ice, he's got some great qualifications, and he's currently working on his thesis as well as everything else. I don't know how he's managing it all. Good luck with everything.
Yeah. No, he definitely,
I think that's worked out very well.
It has. He did seem to play leadership on the ice last year. I saw him as being one of the leaders in the team last year, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, it's good that he's got the chance, really. I think.
Yeah, I liked him as well. So I mean, his playing, I don't know him, but he seemed good. So with my seal of approval, I think.
No, I think we'll see him shine this season. I think given that opportunity that he's got now, knowing what a passionate guy he is, I really think that he's going to be pumped up, and going into the season, he's going to be really pushing the guys along. I don't think we're going to see people getting the opportunity to be lazy, to short shift or anything like that. Not suggesting that players were, but I don't think under Lord.
Well, you were.
Well, kind of.
That, weren't you?
But I think under Lord, we're not going to see that sort of play. I think we'll see the intensity that he brings to the ice in the way that he coaches and the way the team plays going forward.
Who was short shifting?
I'm not going to mention names, but I'm sure people know they were already.
Yeah.
Maybe not trying as much as they should have last year, but there we go. Yeah.
So on to the new players, because we've bimbled around between that point and that point for about 10 minutes now.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's
good. John has been brilliant.
John has done his paperwork. It's awesome. We've got stuff.
It's far too professional.
With numbers
John
and
has
stats
very kindly printed off information. Not always from the correct website, we must mention. He's gone down market, really, there.
I should have used more from Elite Prospects, but unfortunately didn't get the opportunity. But certainly Chris Culligan is an interesting chap. Yeah. Now, obviously, we're not going to have time to go into great detail with any of these players, but I don't know Chris Culligan. I've never seen him play, but completely out of the blue.
You surprised me.
Yeah. I know. Completely out of the blue. I had a message from a scout that I know saying that he was very surprised that we'd got Culligan, and he was a player that he was very impressed with.
In fairness, without John on here, this program would just be hey,
and then me and Alan making jokes.
There'd be very little
really
hockey.
Bad jokes about 15
very
minutes.
Little hockey. So it's
thanks, John.
Yeah,
so
Chris Culligan, there's a connection with him and Joey Haddad. Is that right? They played together before somewhere. I read something.
I think you could well be right.
So you've gone down a complete
the next
alleyway
on the
there.
list.
I know, but you've gone with a point that we just can't verify, really, with the stats we've got in front of us.
University played together.
They did?
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank
there
you.
We go. Yeah.
CNA on the same team.
Thank you to somebody voice off camera.
So are they going to be top line together then?
I would hope. I would assume so.
Well, I think there's a couple of interesting things there. Haddad's got one of the best backhand shots that I've seen for a long time, and you don't see it in this league very often. So I think he'll be trouble in netminders with that.
We were lucky to see some footage at the
open night.
the evangelical event that we attended.
Yeah.
To launch the new ownership. Freudian slip. But no, the footage was great, actually, wasn't it? And there was a few backhand shots there that looked very, very classy.
Yeah.
He's a big guy as well, and
He is.
I think he's the kind of player the Devil fans will enjoy
Well, he can
watching.
screen the puck while skating backhand,
Yeah.
which makes it particularly difficult for the netminder because he can
Oh,
finish
yeah.
top shelf as well backhand.
Yeah, and the one he had a guy all over him from
Yeah.
pretty much the blue line, I think, and took it through. I'm not saying he's going to do that every week, obviously.
No,
We're
but
talking
I-
highlights here, but it was a hell of a play. So it looked like the kind
we're
of
in
thing
for a
that get
treat
people on their feet.
with
I
those
think.
two. You got Culligan, who's got some excellent stats, was captain of the Canada University team. Has been captain a lot. I think he's been captain 5 times so far,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. So he's another leader on the ice.
Yeah. No, I think captain in the university side obviously is a.
So can we speculate that he'll have a C? Is that a guess?
I don't
we
know.
make,
I really don't know because I think this is his first year as a pro, isn't it?
Mm.
He came out of uni last year and played
Yeah.
a few games.
Yeah.
In which he, for Gwynedd, I think he was 6.6 from 6.
Yeah.
He went straight in the AHL from uni, but I think he only had 9 games out
How
of
have we
uni.
signed this guy then? Okay.
What? Yeah. Well,
Not to run down the club or anything, but
no. Well, I
sounds,
think it was.
like-
I think it was through a contact at the club
Sounds
that
impressive.
that he was introduced to us.
yeah.
But certainly he looks like the real deal and a guy who should light up this league
Yeah.
because he looks capable of playing at a considerably higher level.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I think it's important that we don't get too carried away with the team together. I mean, obviously it could go.
Yep.
It looks very good at the moment. It could
Yeah.
get even better. With a number of signings to be announced. But at the same time, I think things are in such a more positive situation for the club as a whole. That although it'd be great obviously to compete for the title, it's not.
Yeah,
personally,
we're not suggesting
it's
that
not really
yet.
something that I'm too bothered about. I think we're in such a better position. It's a season to look forward to anyway, isn't it?
I'd like to see us.
half
Yeah, I'd
would
like
be
to see us a
nice.
lot higher up the table next
Yeah,
season
yeah.
and competing every night.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'd like to see. Winning a lot of our home games and doing fairly well on the road, but competing every night. I didn't think we competed every night last season. I don't think the off-ice stuff helped. I think with the much more positive mentality behind everything this season, I think we will see the guys compete. Yeah. And I think the people we expected to compete last year, whose level probably wasn't where it was, I think we will see them compete this year.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's going to be apart from a far happier environment. It's going to be far more competitive for ice time, providing we don't have a massive splurge of injuries. But it's going to be a lot more competitive, I would imagine, for ice time because you've got the 12 imports, of course. So we'll come on to who that person is filling that EU passport import in a moment. But in terms of Brit players, we've actually got more than if you look at the sort of standard setup of your 9 forwards. 5 D-men, I think we only need, because of Bounds in goal, we only need 2 or 3 skating Brit players, so there's going to be a lot of competition there as well. And we know that Pickett and Jones are going to bring intensity every night, so they'll be taking shifts off people who aren't bringing it in games, so I think it's quite positive.
No, I think we'll see a higher level of fitness this season, being honest.
Skating Brit-wise, just to finish that point off, we've got Richie, got Matt Myers, Luke Piggott and Chris Jones.
Yeah.
So what, maybe 1 or 2 more?
Well, I don't think we necessarily need more, unless we're concerned about
numbers-wise. We don't.
Unless we're looking at high standard, we don't need them just to not do anything. It'd be nice to see guys like Callum be able to step up Buglass during the season and get some shifts. I think Chris Jones will get a lot more ice time this season. I thought he was very productive on the ice last season, and was certainly one of our leading Brits.
I liked Batch a lot as well, I have to say.
Yeah.
I think he's got the potential with the right development and coaching to be an elite Brit player.
He's got size as well on his side
in the league, and so I don't know what's going to happen there, but hopefully wherever he ends up, if it's not in Cardiff, he's in the elite league.
Well, currently
he's
we
a
don't have any
high-quality
information on what Josh is doing, so
genuinely,
no, genuinely,
no. I'm saying that
He's not highlighted on my
genuinely
list.
don't know.
Genuinely, we don't know.
So that covers off the British guys. I think you know what you're getting with Richie, Myersy. I don't think we saw the best of Myersy last season. I think we'll probably see a different Matt Myers this season, more intensity, more the player we saw with the Panthers.
Let's hope so, yeah.
Who played, who won plenty of trophies with them and was an integral part of their success.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see that Myers back on the ice this season.
Yeah.
As you said, with Luke, we know what we're going to get with Luke every shift. It's always heart, passion and desire. It's always 100%. I can't see that isn't going to change. You've got the return of Morissette, who's going to be played in his more standard position, which is and Morissette's played as captain as well in the past.
And I made a point to you earlier, which was almost a good point, and it was that
It was almost a good point. Almost a right, not quite a good. Not.
And it was when I was, the games I watched sort of, earlier on in the season as a sort of raving lunatic at the back of Block 2. He was a player who you sort of thought was a decent player, but a sort of good filler-in player, if you like, But when I started doing the commentary on the games, and watching it in that much more depth and with less emotion and things like that, he does a lot of stuff, and I think he's going to be a really key signing. Okay, regardless of the fact that he's going to win games because of his penalty shot taking ability, which we know is important when it comes to the end of the season, his defensive work, shot blocking, positional play, and I think he'll get more points as well in a better team this year.
I think
massively underrated player, I think.
No, I agree. Great two-way player, very hard worker on D last season. Did a lot of shot blocking, for which he wasn't really recognised. Put his body on the line a lot. Worked very hard in the corners. Certainly very good around the net as well. He's a very agile skater in close to the net. No, I think with other big guys feeding off him and because his puck delivery is excellent. I think, I think we could see some.
Big guys feeding off him.
I think we can see some
cannibalism type thing.
Morissette has generally racked up good points in his career, and I think he'll continue to do that. I'm not reacting to you.
No, don't.
I don't believe he's not rising to it. It's not
no. Cal Hudson, I think, is an interesting one.
Yes. Well, we referenced him a moment ago because he's going to be the guy taking up this 12th. So that doesn't mean the 12th best import on the team, of course.
No, not at all.
And I have to say, I was sort of expecting us to sort of sign a bit of a filler-in import in that role.
I was thinking Eastern European. It's going to be a guy who's got.
Maybe a Giga Svidya.
But of course, it isn't. It isn't a European. EU passport doesn't mean a European player. You see the plenty of sports sort of taking advantage of that, where you've got people grandparents of European descent and things like that playing for those countries and things like that. So he's not. Where's he from? It's Ireland.
He also holds an Irish passport.
So. He's got an Irish passport.
Is it Irish and Canadian passport he's got?
So he is Canadian, though, is he?
That's what Elite Prospects suggested when I
looked at a blind alley. Yeah.
Yes. Was that confirmed then by Elite Prospects?
It was. Yeah, I looked earlier on. Yeah.
We should be all right then.
During my extensive research for tonight's
you better
program.
Look that up now. Make sure that's right, Seb.
Certainly to Google. That was about it.
Certainly, the details you said are correct. He is covering that 12th spot, and a guy with a good history as well.
Well, last year played in France.
Yeah, top level, and
points a game. Is that right?
Roughly as a D man,
more or less, a bit more. Yeah. As a D man.
Yeah.
So in our league, that
top scorer in the top French league, I think, last season, I believe.
So that translates as at least, obviously, you can't take into account sort of various.
We don't know exactly how we're going to be playing him, but
generally, if players are getting that sort of level in France, they're going to get it. They should get at least that in our league. You think which for D-man
he'd be around there again? It would be very good.
And it's the same league that Epinal are in.
It's the top French league.
They're lower, are they? Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so he's in the top French.
Yeah, he was. He was at Morsey. He was in DL2 for 2 seasons before that. So he's played at a high standard.
Again, is a higher league than ours.
He's played with Lord, or he's played against Lord, I believe, previously, and Lord was always impressed with his work rate.
Yeah,
he's got a tremendous one-timer apparently.
Right. Yeah.
So
cool. Well, I mean, the power play is a perennial problem, isn't it, for the Devils? Has been for years, really, other than a few hot periods, now and again. But
we miss a guy.
I know it's difficult on the small ice rink. It's never going to look that tidy or anything like that. But it'll be nice to hopefully have a guy back there who can control things.
We miss a Tyler Michelle type player.
Well, it was only really that Craig Weller season our power play looked good.
Yeah.
Effective.
Yeah.
So we don't really know what sort of skate speed Hudson's got yet, but what we're looking for obviously is a guy who can get to the point, take the shot and cover the D when needed to, rather than one who gets to the point, takes the shot and they skate straight past him when they intercept it and score the other end. So which I think in the past we did sign a guy who was a little bit overweight who unfortunately who reputably had one of the best shots I believe in ice hockey anywhere, but unfortunately didn't have the speed to get back into position. Yeah, that is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamie Wylam. Yeah, okay, fine. I had no idea. I was
Well,
like, "What?"
Jamie, I think, had
Yeah.
been timed as one of the hardest shots that anybody had anyway. But unfortunately, the style of hockey we played, didn't really
He
suit
didn't really
him.
get a
But
chance to shoot, did he?
not a great deal, no.
No.
But he couldn't really get back into position either, which
No.
was a difficulty when that's your role.
Anyway, we're not talking about the dark years.
Past
Are
is
we?
gone.
We're just going to totally focus on everything wonderful.
So
Yes.
today we had a very big signing in
yes.
more ways than one.
John.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that line has been used before.
It
know,
has.
Countless broadcasts.
About me many times.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How do you look?
Yeah.
Very slim.
Big feet and big stomach.
Yeah.
So I've got the paperwork in the right place so no one can see it.
See what?
My stomach.
Oh.
So Clarkson, very briefly, is the brother of David Clarkson who plays for the Leafs.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's what we should talk about.
Will we
really.
not
Should we ignore the fact that we've
No,
signed
no, should-
Doug Clarkson and just talk about the
No,
fact his
because
brother's David
I think
Clarkson?
Doug's lived in his brother's
Were we
shadow
not
for long
mentioning
enough.
the brother? I thought we were mentioning the brother.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
said not to mention the brother.
yeah.
Well, we're not mentioning the brother. What we're saying is that is his brother. We recognise that.
okay.
But Doug is his own player.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for me personally, this is my point of view, it's an opportunity for Doug. He's now away from that.
Yeah.
It's a chance for Doug to shine in a different environment. It's a chance for him to really show what he can do. He's a guy who through his career has had good hands for a big chap, 6'6", 240, 6'5", 235. There seems to be, he says he's 6'6", 240. So it's somewhere around there. He's a big guy, I think is what basically you're talking about a guy who's going to come on the ice at about 6'8".
Are they
When
all
he's got
about?
his skates
Are they
on.
all over 6 foot? Apart from Morissette, are they all like?
Yeah, we got a big team this year,
Yeah,
I think.
okay.
Yeah.
The good hands,
And he's going to
Likes-
play like he's over
Yeah.
6 foot.
He
because
is.
he's,
Yeah.
likes the forecheck,
Yeah.
sees himself as a power forward, which we like in Cardiff.
yeah.
That is something we'd like to see.
Do like a power forward.
Looking
He's,
forward to seeing him get in front of the net.
Yeah, he's pretty tough. I imagine that when he's in front of the net, it'll be difficult for the netman to see anything.
Screening the net shenanigans. I love it.
I told you I was leaving it on. That was annoyingly, that's the same text message, but it does.
Repeating to let you know
Yeah.
you haven't looked at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shocking.
So he looks
Uh-oh.
like a guy with a point to prove. He's had some injuries in recent seasons. He was part of the Flyers establishment.
It was my mum.
Right, okay.
Oh, you mum?
That's all right then.
Yeah.
Don't you sure? Right? Or
He
you
was
gonna-
part of the Flyers
Send
establishment
me a picture.
in America. Their organisation had a pretty good. It was an
Pre-season
exhibition
yeah.
game with them.
But
He's
then-
also done pre-season with the Devils, New Jersey Devils as well, I believe, in the
But
past.
his pre-season game with the Flyers was a goal, a fight, and possibly an assist.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was like, wow, that looks great, you know.
Yeah, and he started off okay, and he picked up an injury unfortunately afterwards. So I don't think we've seen the best of him yet, and I think this is an opportunity for Doug to shine.
Well, of course, I said to myself I wasn't going to do this.
Go on.
But I think it is a valid point. What is going on here?
Ah,
Does somebody want to confiscate it? Thank you. Thank you. This is my come in to confiscate the thing. Stop reading my phone, you. It's my mum sending me pictures.
Right, so let's focus then. So you weren't going to say it, but now you are.
Focus.
What is he doing? Reading my phone?
Shocking. Come on. Back on topic. Look, topic. Go.
What was I saying? Oh yeah,
weren't
of course.
gonna
Brad
mention it.
Voth came to us in a sort of state where he hadn't played a huge amount of hockey, and that turned out all right.
We've had a few
I don't
guys
think.
coming on that.
Yeah, I
level.
don't think we can compare him with Voth really.
No,
We don't.
But
want to start
my
comparing him
point
with
is, I'm not
Voth, yeah.
comparing him to Voth.
Similar
but my
position
point
to starting point.
is that just because you haven't had a load of hockey the season before, doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's going to be a
No.
disaster. I think he's
Oh,
obviously got the.
Well, I know
size,
Todd isn't
a lot
looking
of
at guys
upside,
who haven't played a lot of
really good
hockey,
player.
so there's obviously a reason why
Yeah.
we've picked him up. He must be hungry. He must be fit because everybody
Yeah.
we've been looking at, that's the part
Well,
of
if
our
he's hungry, he
criteria.
can feed off Morissette.
Yeah, he's tough. He's physical. He likes to play physical hockey. He likes to get in the dirty areas, and he likes to work hard. Honestly,
Come on, John.
I should have done this program on my own tonight.
You
I
can't
think.
say get in the dirty areas and expect us not to snigger like schoolgirls.
Yeah, it's great. So
Yes.
Doug Clarkson, he's going to be a big presence on the ice. I think then we also need to talk about the netminder, netminders, because this season we've got two new guys on board. We've got Ben Bounds,
Ben Bounds.
which a lot of people will know a bit about.
And if you haven't seen it yet, there's an interview with Ben on the forum.
Oh, yeah.
So have a
Well
look at
worth
that.
looking at
Well,
on the Inferno.
good read, yeah, really good.
Yeah. And also,
Who did it? Was it you?
It was us, yeah.
You
It was
did?
a group effort.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we've also now got Mike Will, previously with Braehead Clan.
Yeah. Should we talk about Ben Bounds before we talk about
Yes.
Mike Will?
Yeah.
So,
Ben Bounds.
sorry.
Ben Bounds, the premier British netminder,
I was
or
waiting for you to say something, and then just nothing came out.
it's between Bounds and Murphy
Too
really
polite.
now.
Yeah.
Who the best British netminder is? I think for me personally, Murphy's still edging it, but Bounds is well on his way.
Well, Bounds had a really good World Championships in the
Very,
GB
very good.
under pressure where Murphy got injured there and faced a lot of shots and made a lot of saves.
And he had a season last year where he faced a lot of shots as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
and there were a couple of blowout victories against Hull in there, but I think you'd expect that given
And also some fantastic
given the amount of shots he
performances.
was
Yeah.
facing.
They won their games on the counter-attack. That's the way they
That
played.
whole team seemed to be about just scoring one more goal than you. It was
Yeah.
all about offense. There was nothing else
Yeah, it
there.
was Newcastle football.
And I
Yeah.
think as an opposition fan, last year to Bounds, it never felt like you were playing against a brick goal. Like when you watch a
No.
team against Murphy, when you see a backup come in or somebody who's maybe stepped up from the EPL, you always think, oh, it changes the game plan, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
you think, get some shots on there, eventually you'll win out. But it was the same with Bounds and Murphy last year. It always felt like, it sounds like a strange compliment, but it always felt like you were facing an import goalie in there.
Yeah,
So,
the standard's very high. I thought Ben particularly impressed me with his speed around the crease, his agility, and his desire last season when I watched him.
And it's a model that's worked for Belfast, winning championships with Murphy in
Exactly,
goal
yeah.
for the extra out skaters. Going to be important.
A hockey expert
actually
famously
import
once
out
said that no team would win with a British netminder,
Yes.
and that's been
But who
proved.
listens to that guy?
Exactly. That's been proved incorrect
Thousands
more
of
than
people.
once.
Yeah,
But I think we got Ben in his prime. Is he 23?
around about there.
I think he's 23.
Yeah.
He's really coming into his prime now. I think Ben will only get better over the next couple of seasons, and I think that will be the biggest benefit when you compare him to Murphy. Because I'm not sure if Murphy's reached his ceiling now.
Sorry,
But I
everybody.
think certainly as far as Ben goes, Ben will improve a bit yet.
You almost said Ben Kenobi then, didn't you?
Almost, but I didn't.
It didn't
Mainly
sound
because
like
Skippy was putting me off.
it. But
I'm sure
interestingly,
you boys
Todd,
are just
Todd
trying
Kelman
to
did say that they're
rile me
looking
up.
for Bounds to be the guy for years. They're going to
Yes.
build a team around him. So that's
That's
I think that's a good
that's
move.
got to build a lot of confidence into Ben.
Yeah.
And you also know from that and certainly with the return of Marsh, that we are going to see a very strong D, a strong D core. And with Marsh back, that's obviously a fantastic start to that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think Todd Kelman said he was one of the top D men in the league. He felt last year, and
I think
if not the
he
top
was one of
D-men,
the top two
if
last
not
season,
the-
definitely.
and I think most people would agree with that who saw him play.
Well,
regularly.
a lot of sides approached him, but his desire was to play for Cardiff if things could be sorted out. And thankfully, as soon as things were sorted out, then Marsh was ours again. And I think that was vital. I think a lot of people were concerned with him coming back last season. They didn't see the best in the previous season due to injury. He picked up that shoulder injury, which limited him as the season progressed. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't know that because he didn't want to not play. He did his best for us. He came in last season fit, and there was a different player on the ice. And Marsh brings a lot to the game.
Leadership.
Yeah, he does. He instills confidence in the guys who shift with him. You know that not many people get past him. Very good player. I think he was vital to bring back on board personally.
Oh, brilliant.
I think him and Law, they're massive signings for us.
Just to finish that, do you know much about Mike Will then with your Braehead connections?
I do know Mike. Spoken to him many times in the
I didn't
past.
say you know him. I said you know much about him.
Yeah,
But John changed the question.
Yeah.
yeah, I did. Yeah. Careful now. He's quite tall as netminders go, Mike, but he's fast and agile, very hard working, and he's very good off the ice as well in the community. Mike's always done a lot of work in the community for Braehead, and certainly when Braehead wasn't widely known, Mike worked very hard to raise their profile.
Oh, brilliant.
And I think for the Devils, we'll probably see Mike continue with a similar role. I think because he used to do a lot of visiting schools,
Yeah.
and a lot of appearances. So
Brilliant.
and then when he was called in to stand in at the Clan, he did a good job there as well.
Yeah.
And I think with Bounds, because wasn't he the backup at the World Championships as well for Ben?
Yes.
I believe. So
So
they've already got a bit of a training
Actually, yes,
relationship.
were they roommates? Or
Yeah, something like that. They've already got a bit of a training relationship going. So I think for Mike, that can only improve his game as well. I think it's good for the two of them.
Good for both of them.
That they're the two the two current GB netminders, apart from Murphy, because obviously he was injured at the time, are with us.
Interestingly, Bounds mentioned in your interview, didn't he? He's involved in the development of goaltenders, isn't
Yes,
he, as
he
well?
is,
So
yeah.
that'll be interesting as well to see. Hopefully, he'll act. Not that he's an aging goaltender; he's a young guy himself. But hopefully, he'll act as a good mentor. And if Will does need to step in, he'll be all the better for it.
No, it's good to see that that Bounds is building. Is getting netminders ready for the future as well. That he's keen to see the sport continue to develop.
Yeah.
So which obviously is very important.
Speaking of developing,
Yes, nicely.
something else is being developed at the moment, isn't it?
Shocking. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. And that, of course, is the new rink. And it's been quite a momentous last sort of 2 to 3 weeks, really, because, of course, the steel work is going up now.
Very rapid progress.
This is the bit we've all been waiting for, isn't it? They've been fiddling around with the ground for ages, and you can't really tell what's going on and all
Concrete
that.
and
With
such,
making sure it doesn't fall
People
down.
said they weren't doing
with
anything.
the foundations and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, it's sort of in a Meccano fashion. It's going up now very quickly. I think there's only like 4 guys actually working on the construction of the steel, but they're doing an incredible job. It's absolutely flying up. So you can start to see it taking shape now. We're posting regular photos on the Inferno Flickr account, which you'll be sharing via Facebook, Twitter, and the forum.
Yes, we will.
You will be doing that.
I will.
And so we're putting regular photos up, and I believe at the moment what's happening is it does appear to be the sort of the smaller pad structure bit that's being built. That's what it looks like from the plans anyway, if you compare them to the end design. But it's really is going up quickly, so I wouldn't be surprised by the time the season starts. If when people are turning up, most of that structure is up. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
I think you're probably
people
right.
can see sort of at least get a feel for the size of the thing, and
the steel frame tends to go quite fast once they get into that.
Yeah, driving past that, it looked huge. It was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's an actual ring as opposed to,
Yeah. I think that's right though, because I think like when you go to watch a game in Nottingham, or Belfast or Sheffield, and even to a lesser extent in Coventry, really, but you kind of feel like you're going to an event, You feel like it's sort of a night out.
You go into an arena.
You go, and when you go to ours, it almost feels like you're going to watch the local game down the road, sort of thing, on the Sunday league. So no, it does feel a little bit like that.
Harsh.
It's a little bit harsh. I've gone from too far an extreme, but you get the idea.
What it has is an incredibly intense atmosphere, though, when it's pumped on night. There's no other arena in the country, I don't think, like it, apart from maybe the old barn at Fife.
Yeah.
On nights when and I'm sure at the first game it's going to be absolutely jumping in there.
Yeah.
And if you've ever been to the old barn when that's full at Fife, it's the same. I think it'll be a very intense night that night.
We don't know who that's going to be, do we? Of course, we've got warm-up games against Coventry, but the fixture meetings happened and they're all set. And Todd Kelman was pleased. I think was the message he's putting
Todd
across.
knows when they are
with the with the fixtures
But
we got.
what we do know is obviously it's triple.
Yeah.
It's triple in Scotland.
Yeah,
It's double in Belfast.
Yeah, it's a triple-double, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's we've got a
return.
double return against Belfast, which is a great idea, I think, as
Yeah.
well. So I think that'd be really. They're always good. Back-to-back games are always great because you just get something carrying over from the night before.
We've also got 30% of our games on a Saturday night as well, haven't we? Is it a third of the
Something like
games
that.
on Saturday nights?
Yeah.
Eight on a Saturday night.
Yeah, so it's roughly a third, I think, on
There's
Saturday
only
night.
a couple of midweek. League games, obviously, the cup will probably come in there, but that's got to be because I think we lost. I mean, I know there were a lot of issues with the club and everything last year, but there were certain games where we played Nottingham at least twice in the middle of the week on a Thursday or something last year. So, those kind of games, it's just ludicrous.
It's difficult
isn't it?
difficult to fill the rink, isn't it? Then.
Yeah.
And I think this season we'll probably see a different attitude to filling the rink on nights when we might struggle. So I think we'll probably see more proactive steps. It was great to see things like the walk-up prices being reduced. I think that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Walk-up ticket prices, and also the fact that season ticket prices were rolled back to the end of last season.
Yeah.
Or the lowest price, wasn't it? So everyone could have the early bird offer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I believe
Which
so,
that was a very welcome move. And I think Todd did allude in his thing to if they'd been in before the prices had been set and people had started paying, it probably would have been a different price. And we know Belfast, I believe, has the most competitive season ticket price in the league. So
I did a little bit of comparison work and worked out which was best, and Belfast was by far the best offer.
yeah, wasn't it around 300 for season ticket?
And ours was outrageous. Yeah.
Yeah, ours was considerably more. And even when you look at other clubs, my ticket at Braehead wasn't the standard ticket anyway, but it was 500 a season. So it was that's not a cheap season ticket either.
No.
It was a nice season ticket because of the seating position and the other benefits that you got with it. In fairness, So that was good. But I think going forward, there's so many positives now. We've only really touched the surface tonight of things to be positive about, and I'm sure over coming weeks and before we
I tell you what,
before we film the next programme.
In an hour,
It can't be an
it must
hour,
be.
surely.
I reckon it is.
We haven't been getting time updates. I've got no idea.
No, we haven't. So apologies.
I think
we've been let down badly by the production staff.
We have. Almost as badly as we let them down.
Well, I think if we film another programme in about a month, roughly, hopefully we'll have some more signings by them, some more news, some more detail, and
some more pictures of the rink.
Yeah, and hopefully an interview with some people with Devils players or you know, that sort of thing.
It's rumoured, isn't it?
That's what we're looking at getting organised for you.
We're in the teeing up phase.
People are doing things.
Yeah, we certainly had management buy-in. They're certainly interested in that happening, and I think that's what we'll be doing. So you can look forward to that. Some interviews with players, and more detail, obviously, on guys that we still have only really touched a little bit on.
Decidedly less of a shambles than this evening has been.
Yeah.
We're not really in hockey mode, are we? To be honest with you,
No.
I don't really.
Well, I was trying.
Oh, you
You two.
try.
I don't know what you two were doing.
To be honest, I yes, in the off season, I'm not in hockey mode. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Now, we normally end with a really upbeat feature where Alid displays his socks. What's happened this evening is Alid is not wearing socks. So that spoiled the ending, really.
Yeah.
And we haven't mentioned Brett the drummer either.
We haven't mentioned Brett the drummer.
And the Drum Depot, our
Depot.
co-sponsors.
Oh yes.
So we should mention them.
Yeah.
And are we going to see Alid's flip-flops?
We could do Alid's flip-flops.
They're
Should we try it?
They're not particularly exciting.
Alid's flip-flops, everybody. There we go. Yeah, stop it, it's creepy.
Yeah, that's enough.
It's creepy, stop it.
That's hideous.
Yeah.
It's been harsh.
Yeah, thanks.
The wrong sort of audience, you know.
I was just
creepy guys
trying to
with
cut
feet,
you off before it got any worse.
And it would have done.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks you.